Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great Monday and your week is off to a great start. Well, for today for my holiday head start, we're going to use another Stampendous stamp set. This one is a cling rubber stamp and it is called Fa La Llama. It is so cute, fun sentiments in there, and so I thought we'd make a fun little Christmas card with this. We're just going to take it out of our package, grab our mini Misty, and do some stamping. I'm going to be stamping on some Canson XL watercolor cardstock. So I place that inside my Misty, grab my little llama. There's also a little hollyberry in the stamp set, and I do have the coordinating dies, and so I have the die that will cut out the hollyberry. So I thought it'd be fun to create a wreath. And so I'm going to ink up my images with some VersaFine Onyx black ink, and I did prep my cardstock with my anti-static powder tool. We're going to be doing some heat embossing, so that's going to help keep the embossing powder in its place. I'm going to stamp the hollyberry quite a few more times to make my wreath. I'll just flip my panel over and fill it in. Now once we have this done, I'm going to go over the top of my images with some Nuvo crystal clear embossing powder, and then I'll go ahead and melt that. I like to heat emboss when I use my zig markers, only because it kind of contains all of the ink. Most of the time I still go outside the lines, but this helps a lot, believe me. But these are my zig markers. I'm going to do some coloring, and I did leave the coloring in, but I did speed it up quite a bit. But I'm going to play a little bit of music, that way you don't have to hear me ramble, and I will catch you back as soon as the music is done. Okay, all my coloring is done, and I didn't do too bad going outside the lines. But now we're going to grab the coordinating dies, and I'll just place them over my images and die cut out all of my hollyberries, and then I did block off my fa la 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 sentiment. I'm sure I threw in a few extra laws, but that's okay. Okay, now that everything's cut out, I'm going to take a couple circle dies from my stash, and I created a circle frame. And I'm just adding some foam tape behind it, and then we're going to set that aside and then grab our background panel. Now for the background panel, it is a 4 inches by 5 1/4 inch panel, so it's going to leave me a little bit of a white border on my card base, but I decided to do a little bit of shading with some Tumbled glass distress oxide ink just in the center, just to add a little bit of color. I'm going to go ahead and use my distress sprayer, add some water to the very top of that, and then just blot the excess off with a dry towel. And it was still a little bit of damp, and so I'm going to use my heat gun to just finish off the drying process. Okay, we're going to add our wreath in the center. Lovely. Now we're going to add our llama. I'm going to add a few pieces of foam tape, making sure that it doesn't hit my circle frame, and then I just glued him down to the left of my panel here. And now here's where I'm going to take each one of those little hollyberries and just glue the very bottom portion of it, and I am going to go around that entire circle. I created the circle frame for a couple of reasons. One was so I could add dimension and pop it up, and then two, it will help guide my holly berries into creating a nice wreath. Otherwise, it would probably be an oblong wreath. Okay, I had one left over. I added it below my sentiment, and you can see I popped it up with some foam tape as well. And then I took some thin gold twine that I had in my stash, and I tied a single bow. You could barely see it, but I did want to add that. Now, Christmas cards, I always pull out my stickles. I have some red stickles and then also gold and silver. So for this card, I filled in the holly berries with the red, and any open spaces on that white circle frame, I added some gold to, just as fillers. But that's my card for today. Thanks so much for joining me. If you are interested in the stamp set, I'll leave links below for you guys. But thanks for joining me. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.